Hello and welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to my player ratings for Xisco Muñoz's first game and his first victory as Watford manager as we beat Norwich 1-0 thanks to an Sarr goal. It's a fantastic performance. I was so happy with it. I can't remember the last time I was so happy with an overall Watford performance. I can't think of one player who necessarily put in a bad performance. I'll come on to it in the actual player ratings, but make sure first of all to follow all our social media channels, like, subscribe on the channel, make sure to look at Jacob's reaction and Shane's reaction from yesterday, and keep your eyes open for lots of WD18 content we've got coming for you soon. So if I'm starting off with Ben Foster, the goalkeeper, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for yesterday's performance. He came out and claimed the ball quite a lot from crosses, which is so important. There was one towards the end, absolutely massive jump to get that, and it just really just gives the defenders a minute to breathe and relax when we're under pressure for a lot of, in the last 20 minutes we were under pressure for a lot of the time. The only reason I'm not going to give him higher than an 8 is because a couple of times his kicking again was a bit suspect, and he needs to improve. I think he knows himself. If you watch the Cycling GK's videos, he knows himself that his kicking needs to improve, but a solid 8 out of 10. He's been consistent this season. A couple of moments, such as last week against Huddersfield, but an 8 out of 10 I think is fair for Foster. Moving on to Jeremy Ngakia, who played at left back yesterday. He's been so good, so consistent. I can't believe we got him on a free from West Ham and that West Ham let him go. I remember watching him last year for West Ham against Liverpool, and he completely pocketed Mo Salah. On the ball, he seems to have got better every single week, and defensively, he's superb. I was quite surprised to see he got subbed off. I wasn't surprised at the same time, considering he was the one playing out of position at left back, but simply for that, I'm going to give him an 8.5. A couple of times, again, his final ball was a bit off, but he's a young player, and that will come with time, and again, I was so impressed with him, so giving Ngakia an 8.5. Now on to the first centre-back. It's going to be I think it was a first championship start for Sarr, and I mean, I was quite surprised to see him in the lineup. I wouldn't say surprised like that because I know we were short on centre-back options with Cathcart and Troost-Ekong injured. But it wouldn't have surprised me as well if they found an alternative to put in at centre-back instead of him. But he was just unbelievable. An absolute brick wall. I can't think of one moment that he didn't do something correctly. I mean, there were a couple of times where he was, I'd say, a bit slow. But that will come with minutes, I suppose, which is why I'm only going to give him an 8. But I was so impressed with him. Massive well done to Sarr for coming in on his first championship start and putting in such a good performance against Teemu Pukki as well. And now for the other centre-back, I'm going to give Ben Wilmot a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm giving him higher than Sarr is because while performances this year haven't been that good overall, I think we can all agree. I think Ben Wilmot consistently when he's played, he's been fantastic. Jacob touched on it yesterday in his match reaction, but he doesn't seem to, kick up a fuss a lot of the time. He doesn't seem to be, one of the players who's in your face a lot, but he just seems to get on with it, and he was superb again yesterday. He was a rock at the back and just fantastic. So I'm going to give Ben Wilmot a 9 out of 10. And then the right back, Kiko Femine, I'm going to give him an 8.5. I thought, again, he was fantastic. There's a strong argument there. For me, he's been my player of the season. Just so good. Defensively solid. Going forward, he drives the ball. Again, I'm not giving him higher simply because a couple of times his final ball could have been a bit better. And I thought a couple of times he was caught out when the ball went behind him. But I can hardly fault Kiko this season, so I'm going to give him an 8.5. Onto the central midfielders, I'm going to give Etienne Capoue a 9 out of 10. I think we all know the quality that Capue's got. We saw it for years in the Premier League with us, and particularly because he was on a yellow card for so much of that game, which I thought it could have been a red card. I think with VAR, he probably would have gone for that. But I thought he was unbelievable. The way he spreads the ball out, the way he intercepts the ball, the way he tackles with such composure. And I think he brings kind of a sense of relaxation for the whole team when you've got a player of Capue's quality in the middle, particularly protecting the back four. Everyone just seems to relax around him. So I'm going to give Capoue a 9. I really hope we can keep hold of him in January because this is the first time this season he's played to his absolute best. And if he can do that consistently this year, then I think 100% will be in the automatic promotion push again. A central midfielder, I'm going to give Tom Cleverley an 8.5. On Twitter, I saw a lot of people, again, with the Tom Cleverley slander, but I think he's been fantastic the last few weeks. I think he drives the ball forward, he works tirelessly, and we keep on saying that all we can ask for is players giving 110% every week and playing for the badge. And that's what Tom Cleverley does. He might not be the best technically, and he might not be the best passer of the ball, but I can't fault his desire, so I'm gonna give Cleverley. I'm gonna give him an 8.5. I'm gonna give Ismaila Sarr a 9 out of 10. Now, aside from the goal, his work rate yesterday was fantastic, and he picked up a lot of bruises. There was a moment, I think it was probably about 70 minutes, where he gave the ball away, or someone else gave the ball away, and he sprinted back and got the ball. And yeah, we know how quick he is, but again, he seemed much happier yesterday. I mean, we knew under Ivic he probably wasn't that happy with his defensive responsibilities, and he just seemed to, be playing with the world on his shoulders. But it just seems that Munoz has released him, kind of thing, in that one game, and he seemed much happier yesterday, and that's where his performances will come from, when he's happy and confident. So I'm going to give Sarr a 9 out of 10. I give Ken Sema an 8.5, simply for his fantastic assist. Again, a couple of times, gave the ball away a bit cheapishly, and I think since he came back from his injury or COVID or whatever it was, his performances haven't been as good as beforehand. But he still has been consistent, and he's been one of my players of the season. A lot of people would say he has been player of the season. So I'm going to give him an 8.5 yesterday for that assist, and again for the work rate, his tracking back, everything about it. And now for the strikers, I'm going to do Troy Deeney and Andre Gray together, simply because I gave both of them a 7.5. I can't really fault the work rate of either of them yesterday, particularly Gray, who a lot of fans have been questioning. But in other games, particularly, say we were in the Premier League, which I know we're not, don't worry, but we have to take those chances, because otherwise we are punished by other teams, and who knows, even other teams in the Championship, such as Bournemouth, Brentford. I mean, Brentford we played last week, but a lot of teams would punish us if we didn't take those chances, and perhaps Gray's still getting sharper, and Deeney's Deeney just needs to be more clinical in general, but I thought in general they both worked hard. Deeney, particularly towards the end, held the ball up really well, so I'm going to give them both a 7.5. Now on to the substitutes. I'm going to give 4 out of 5 of them. I'm going to give Hughes, Navarro, Stipe, Paritza and Chalobah. I'm going to give them all 7.5 out of 10. Simply because the work rate they put in when they came on, they just seemed to fit perfectly into the system. A couple of times, I think all of them probably gave the ball away. But, I mean, that's just coming into a game of such high magnitude. I thought Chalobah particularly impressed me when he came on for, 10-15 minutes or so. A couple of interceptions, and I think he could be really, really useful when we're kind of shielding out games towards the end of it. And it was really good to see Will Hughes back as well. And, yeah, I suppose all of them will have their part to play with the amount of games that we have. Off the two, I'm going to give Adam Messina a 10 out of 10. I can't fault it. Anything that he did when he came on, we have to talk about that tackle on Timu Pukki. If we go up this season, and it's because of under Xisco Munoz, I think we will look back on that tackle and say that was the moment we knew these players were playing for him. And, aside from that, it just seemed to give the whole team a bit of confidence when he put in that tackle. And then there was another one as well on, I think, Max Aaron's, and it was just so good to see, particularly with him coming back from injury, and he's going to be really important. Particularly, we've been crying out for a left-back all season, and if he can carry on like that, then, we're all good. I'm going to give Xisco Munoz on his first home game, his first game as Watford manager, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I was very surprised with the lineup at first. I wasn't surprised to see Troy in there. I thought we'd go with Stipe over Andre Gray. Perhaps I was expecting Hughes to start as well. I mentioned as well, surprised about Sarr, but he seemed to get it spot on. The team, the formation, everything about it. And I think 4-4-2 will be the way to go with this Watford side. I thought his substitutions were fantastic. There were a couple of moments where I thought we got a bit too deep, which is why I'm not giving him higher than an 8. And again, another team could punish us with that. But if this is anything to go by, then we'll be laughing by the end of this. Those were my player ratings. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, like, follow WD18 on all social media channels, and we'll be back for more content after the Swansea City game next week.